Hello, everyone, and happy Tuesday. Yesterday, we talked about brainstorming a list of ideas of events from our own lives that we could write about. Today, our learning target is that we can choose a topic and write about it. We're going to go back into our writing piece and back into our brainstorm and choose a topic to write about. Yesterday, we just made a list of ideas, and today, we get to choose one of those ideas. I'm going to share my screen with you, and we're going to look back at my list of experiences and things that I could write about. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Okay. So here I have my writing piece, and under things that I can write about is a whole list of different experiences that I have had. Type a list here of experiences you have had that you could tell a story about. I'm going to review my ideas and give myself a refresher. When I got my pet dog, Rusty, that was one idea, one story that I could tell, one life story that I could tell. When my baby brother was born, that was a big event. My trip to the circus, when my friends and I went to the movies, my move from Vermont, the bad rainstorm, my brother's baseball game. Now, all of these ideas are true, and that's important to remember. We are crafting true stories about our life experiences. I have to be really thoughtful about what topic I want to choose. All of these topics are good ideas. So I have to take a moment to think to myself, what do I want to write about? What do I want to tell my friends about? What do I want people to know about me? I could start by narrowing down my favorite topics. I would say that I would love to write about when I got my pet dog, Rusty, my move from Vermont, and when my baby brother was born. Today, I'm going to choose the topic, my move from Vermont, because I want you all to know that about me. I want to share my life experiences from Vermont and my new life experiences that I've been enjoying so much, which is being with you all. So I'm going to now go down to my story topic. Type the event you chose. The event I chose to write about is my move from Vermont. Okay, my move from Vermont. That's what I'm going to write about. That's a topic I chose because I'm so excited about it. Title of my story. Now here's the good part. I'm going to come up with a title for my story, but that doesn't have to be permanent. We can always go back later once we've written our story and come up with a new title, but I am going to put one for now because that's what good writers do. I'm just going to say my move from Vermont. But after I write, I might go back and change it to something more creative. Sometimes it's easier to come up with a title after you've written your story, but I'm going to put that there for now. So I have my story topic, my move from Vermont. I have my title, again, my move from Vermont for now. And then I'm going to start typing my story. Start typing your story here. Okay. So I am going to think about what I want my friends to know and where I want to start in my story. Okay. I have not always been a teacher in Indiana. Are you wondering where I was a teacher before? I was a teacher in Vermont. I used to live in Vermont, where things are a lot different than in Indiana. I'm going to pause and I'm going to reread what I've written so far. I have not always been a teacher in Indiana. Are you wondering where I was a teacher before? I was a teacher in Vermont. I used to live in Vermont where things are a lot different than in Indiana. Okay, so I'm thinking about how I'm going to continue writing. Okay, I have not always been a teacher in Indiana. Are you wondering where I was a teacher before? You'll notice that I'm rereading what I already wrote to give myself more ideas about what to write next. I'm going to talk about how I loved Vermont. I loved Vermont, but I love Indiana too. Let me tell you all about my move. And then I'm going to go into my next paragraph, which brings me to the next page you're noticing, and that's okay. We're going to have many pages to type on. I decided that I wanted to teach in a bigger place. I started looking at cities and decided that Indiana was the home of a great city called Indianapolis. You might be noticing something important. I've made a couple of mistakes, and that's okay. Later in the writing process, we are going to get to come back and edit and revise. But right now, we are just starting to tell our stories. I'm going to reread you my writing because that's what good writers do. And then I'm going to tell you what your job is for today. I have not always been a teacher in Indiana. Are you wondering where I was a teacher before? I was a teacher in Vermont. I used to live in Vermont where things are a lot different than in Indiana. I loved Vermont, but I love Indiana too. Let me tell you all about my move. I decided that I wanted to teach in a bigger place. I started looking at cities and decided that Indiana was the home of a great city called Indianapolis. Okay, I'm happy with my story so far, but I know that I can always write more tomorrow. I think I've written enough for the time that I have spent writing, and I'm happy for today. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and explain to you your job. Your jobs today, friends, are to choose a topic that is meaningful to you and a topic that you want to tell your friends about. Then you're going to get started telling the story and telling about your experience. You are going to choose a topic and then write for 15 minutes. Remember, be creative and be descriptive. Tell all about your life story.